This video is about how to make an origami flapping bird a little bit different than the traditional origami crane. You'll want to start with square paper. You'll fold the paper exactly in half, and any time during this folding, you do want to match up corners and edges. Here's some basic terms. If you look at your paper and there's a dip in it, it's called a valley fold. If you flip it over, it's called a mountain fold because it looks like a mountain. I'm going to fold my paper again in the opposite direction so that when I open it, I should have two lines going across from each other. Now I'm going to fold up a tip so that I'm getting a triangle. And again, I'll unfold what I did. I've got some mountain folds all over the place. Now I'm going to make a different fold. I'm going to go the opposite way. My paper is now color on the inside, white on the outside. I'll show you what that does. I have all these valley folds in this one mountain fold. If I press that mountain fold in the middle, boom, it brings those two mountains up and close to each other. I'm going to just let them fall together and fold it down. I'll show that to you again. So if I look at my valley fold and my one mountain fold, I will pull my mountain folds up towards the middle. They want to go there anyway. I'll show you a slightly different angle. And once I get them together, I'm just going to take the whole model and kind of collapse and fold it in. This is called a square base. This is the beginning of lots of origami folds. And when you work on the bird today, leave that open end on the bottom towards your belly and leave the closed end up at the top. That'll keep you all straightened out. So now we're going to take one of the edges, just the top edge, and we're going to fold it towards that line in the middle. I like using my index finger to kind of hold down at the bottom and bring it up. It's a lot like making a paper airplane right now. It will probably look familiar to you. I'll flip the model over. I'll make sure that I've got my open end towards my belly, closed end up top. I'll do the same thing again. Now it looks a little bit like a kite. I am going to unfold everything, and I'm going to exercise my folds. That's what I like to call it. So what I do is I take all that folding that I just did and I push it over to one side, bring it back towards me, push it back to the other side, back towards me. I do that a few times on each side, away from me, towards me, away from me, towards me. That gets those folds nice and solid. I've got an imaginary line that runs across the top, and I've illustrated it for you. I want to fold just the top down right into those little, you'll see little extra lines on the top that you made, and it'll make sense when you do it. There's my little kite that I had before, and just like before, I'm going to fold it back on one side, and then I'll unfold it and fold it on the other side. I'm exercising it. And all this exercising is going to pay off in a big way. I'll just flex each one more time. Now I'm ready to go. Open end towards my belly and the closed end up top. I'm going to insert my finger and lift up just the top sheet. Look at all that. It's like looking at the guts inside. So I'll just take that top sheet. I'm going to keep that little triangle at top flat. And if I open this up gently and press along the lines that I was exercising, I will get this nice thin diamond shape. It's tricky, so I'll show it to you again. Let's practice on the other side. I will keep my fingers flat up there so that I can keep that down, and I will open up the bottom, and if I've done all my good exercising, all of those lines will fall into place. This is called a bird base. This is a very important base for origami. I've got my solid sides up top and my loose sides down at the bottom. I'm going to make his head, and I'm going to make sure that those two lines line up just like that, and I'll press that down. I'll do the same thing on the other side, making sure those two edges line up and press down. There's a little bit of space up there. So there's what he looks like. Now I'm going to exercise my folds back and forth again. So I will fold them up, and then I'll turn my model around and I'll fold them up in the other direction on the same exact line. We want to kind of break the paper down in this one little fold. So I'm just going to go back and forth a few times just to make sure that that paper has gotten a little bit weak right there, and it'll fold better for me. That looks good. Now, here's the part that everyone finds tricky, but you're going to do well. Put your finger in between the flaps, put your thumb down at the bottom, and you're basically going to turn that paper inside out. So check that out. I end up with something that looks like a head. It's kind of right in between. I'll show you again. So I've been exercising that flap. I'll put my finger in between the layers. I'll put my thumb down on the bottom. I will very gently turn this inside out, right on the folds that I already made, pushing in the middle. I'm showing you from all sorts of angles. There it is. We'll try it on the other side. I'll flip it over so that you can use your hand the same way. So I put my finger in between the flaps, my thumb down on the bottom, and I'm going to push it up and kind of flip it inside out. Oh, it doesn't match up. I just take it slowly so that it all fits in there. You're so close. Don't give up now. Fold down one end so it looks like a head. You can just leave it this way if you want and have the head kind of cocked to one side, or if you want to try out your new reverse fold that you just practiced, you can exercise it and put a finger in there and flip it inside out too. And you're basically done. So I'll show you how to make the bird flap. He's all nice and flat right now. We've got his back right there. His wings are spread out. These 2 points, and I'll just put them in pencil so you can see them. This is where you're going to pinch with your fingers. So pinch your model, both sides like this, both sides like this. Now begin to pull it apart in the direction my hand is showing you. Be very gentle with it at first. As you start to understand how it works, you can control how it's flying. But just the gentlest pull back and forth will make your bird flap. And there it is.